Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Tuesday, May 19th, 2015. And here are some of today's trends in the news. On the market front, wow, they were up over there and down over here and flat in the USA. How come? Well, more stimulus over there in Asia, the market's like that. Not too much happening over there in Europe, but it was okay. And here in the States, the markets were up, the markets were down, and they closed a little up. But the bigger news was oil. Phew! We saw West Texas down there over 3.5%, and we see Mr. Brent down over 3%. How come? Well, it's down for the 5th day in a row amid evidence that the United States and top oil exporter Saudi Arabia were pumping more than the world needed. And the tumble in crude occurred despite an industry report scheduled later in the day that is expected to cite a third straight weekly decline in U.S. stockpiles. So, you know why? Because they're not using a lot of this stuff, because there's a global slowdown when you look at imports, exports out of China, when you look at U.S. trade data, and when you look at EU trade data and other trade data around the world. According to Carsten Fitch, an analyst with Commerce Bank, he said he was less worried about over the risks of Middle East oil supplies from fighting in Iraq, where Shia militiamen have been deployed in a battle against the Islamic State, which seized the city of Ramadi, and Saudi-led forces are meanwhile carrying out strikes in Yemen against Houthi rebels aligned to Iran. Quote, such concerns are exaggerated. In actual fact, the supply from the region has continued to grow. Yes, has continued to grow. Doesn't mean will always continue to grow. Because, Mr. Fritz, if those Houthis say, as they say they are going to do, attack Saudi Arabia, because there are some 4 million Yemenis working there, and a lot of them in the oil fields, it could be a terrible slowdown in oil supply from the region if war breaks out over there. Front page is the Financial Times. Oil slide puts more than 100 billion of projects on ice as majors retreat. Companies including Royal Dutch Shell, BP, ConocoPhillips, Statoil have led moves to curtail capital spending on 26 major products in 13 countries. The delays and cancellations, many disclosed quietly in recent weeks and months, come amid a wider retrenchment by the industry that has seen thousands lose their jobs and led to a slowdown in the U.S. shale boom. That'll be good for the economy. That'll drive up wages. Oh, no, it won't. This whole thing is going down. You're looking at Goldman Sachs. They're giving an estimate of West Texas back down to $45 a barrel. Endo to buy par from TBG for $8 billion. Deal is latest in feverish round of pharmaceuticals M&A as groups vie for genetic patents. Endo is set to buy U.S. drug maker Par from a private equity firm, TPG Capital, blah, 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 blah. More deals being done because you could borrow money for free and put all these mergers and acquisitions together, put all the business in the hand of a few, and make it a nice takeover so they could demand and give you the orders to march from in Slavelandia, where you have no other choices other than working for the multinational man. Rules fail to rein in tax-driven takeovers. Oh, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Endo International, oh, that's that one, agreed to buy rival drug maker Par Pharmaceuticals, the latest in a string of cross-border mergers, steering tax revenues away from the U.S. despite Washington efforts. Hey, isn't that great? No taxes for the big guys. Make sure you pay everything. Don't try to cheat Uncle Sam. No, you're too small. Only the big guys get away with the dirty deals. And speaking of deals, Li to ratify $50 billion trade deal during regional trip. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang arrived in Brazil yesterday on his first official trip to Latin America, bearing tens of billions of dollars of trade and investment deals in the latest sign of China's rising influence in the continent. Why don't they have any anti-drug wars going on over there where they're spraying all those fields? Hey, you hear Colombia doesn't want them to spray them anymore? No, that World Trade Organization report came out and said the stuff that they use in Roundup, Monsanto's thing, is cancer-causing. A war on drugs that has cost hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars, that has stopped nothing. That's all America knows how to do. All these sick little people, all of these commanders-in-chief and military madmen and the police, a war on this, a war on that, a drug czar. Oh, yeah, a czar. Name them after the czar. Wonderful. All losing enterprises that have destroyed the lives of millions, caused cancer throughout the region, and didn't do a damn thing to stop anything. You can get all the coke and weed you want if you want to get it. And then they put on these phony things, they stopped the boat with bales of... grow up, you little boys. I've been reading too many Marvel comic books. It's destroyed your minds. And now you're on them video games. Yeah, war every day. Sick SOBs. All America knows how to do is a war on terror, a war on drug, and all China knows how to do is business. That's the difference. This is a shocking story. Sit down, relax, have a glass of wine. Don't smoke any weed, though. Don't relax that much, unless it's over there in Colorado or those other cities and states. Only 23% of customers are happy with their banks. Wow, it shocks me. The banks, the bankism, top trend of 2015. What a surprise. Hey, remember those too big to fails? Thanks to the Slimers running the country, them too big to fails are even bigger now. Bigger, taking all your dough and giving you back nothing, except a lot of agita for all the heartache they give you and indigestion. Only 23% of customers globally believe their bank is meeting their expectations. According to a new study released, a survey of 9,000 bank customers, it found that safety and security were among the bank customers' top priorities. Transparency on pricing and fees was another problem. The report highlighted, giving weight to earlier research, that the firm found that, quote, customers want financial institutions to be clearer about what they offer, the fees they are charging, and how to avoid paying fees. How dare they demand those things? The bank could screw you at any time. Stop it. Be a good citizen. Obey the banksters. A 2014 Harris poll found advantages of dealing with smaller financial institutions, and people indicated that the financial institutions they trusted the most were local credit unions and community banks. And trust declined the bigger the banks got. Amen. What we've been talking about. Our money is in the local federal credit union over here, and as well as the local banks. None in with the big guys. And again, it goes beyond banking, where you buy your food, where you buy your clothes anytime you can, or anything that you can do. Support local. Because whether it's banking or buying beverages, help keep the community alive. And speaking about not keeping the community alive, militias flood to Iraqi city. Yep, it looks like that Ramadi is going up in flames and ISIS is taking over and they're trying to fight back. Now, that's today's news. But let's go back to the war criminal in chief, George W. Bush. Yep. A guy that they should bring up on war crime charges at a war crime tribunal under the direction of the Nuremberg trials, using the same platform of whether you're guilty or innocent. Only the facts should speak, along with the rest of them, of course, who supported it and lied to us. Here's what Georgie said back a few years ago. He talked about his troop increase. Remember the troop surge that he ordered? That helped turn the war around before he left office. Mr. Bush said, quote, 25 million Iraqis went from living under a dictatorship of fear to seeing the prospects of a peaceful, functioning democracy. How's that, huh? Nobody Stephanopoulos, when you're not giving your dough to the Clintons, how come you're not talking about this? Hey, little Anderson Cooper, where are you, huh? Hey, Jake Tapper, the tough, where are you, little boys without a pair, to call these guys out on a statement like this after destroying a country? Oh, no. They live in a peaceful, functioning democracy. End quote. One thing is certain. The Iraqi people, the United States, and the world are better off without Saddam Hussein in power. And this little son of a bitch lying bastard gets away with it because all the media is a propaganda outlet for Washington. Who could get away with this? Hey, I'm the commander-in-chief. If Bush can, Obama can. Because you know Obama, we were going to be out of there in Afghanistan. And everything, the $65 billion we gave to those troops to take over from our troops destroying the joint, nothing. Suicide bomb attack hits Afghan capital. It marks the fifth such attack in Kabul in just over 2 weeks. The third to target people working in the justice system. You see, in Afghanistan, there is no justice. And speaking of which, here's the slant, man. Egypt leader casts himself as terror fighter. Yeah, Sisi wins U.S. support with tough stance on militant Islam. They're doing it all over. They're doing it in Burundi. They're doing it in Egypt. All of the countries are using, whether it's in France with the Charlie Hebdo deal, whether it's up in Canada where they're robbing people of their rights, they're all hiding under the new War on Terror, Part 2, the Islamic State. Yeah, I'll make you hate people that practice the Islam religion. Sure. And it gets them off the hook for their gross violations of human rights. And here it is, a big story being pumped up by the Wall Street Journal. Oh, what did they do? They sentenced Morsi to death, the former elected president of Egypt, yesterday or 2 days ago. Executed 6. But here's the way they do it. Another day, more BS, more propaganda, and more march to war. And that's why I'm voting for peace. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's Trends in the News.